Hey, how's it going? So, as you can see, for the new year, I decided to spend the show's entire budget on my very own clown car. What kind of crap car is this? We're ranking the 3D Bowser fights. Yes, you know the deal. All of the 3D Mario games end with a grand finale of you facing off against the main villain Bowser. And some of them can get pretty epic and awesome. So I'm gonna talk about my favorite ones, ranking them from worst to best. If you've been watching these videos for a while, you'll know that I cover a bunch of different video game topics with some interesting special effects to accompany them. So hit subscribe if you want to see more of these style videos, because I have plenty of ideas for the future. Now with that all being said, let's rank the 3D Bowser fights. Okay, so there is 8 3D Final Bowser boss battles in this ranking today. And the very first fight that we're gonna talk about is from the very first 3D Mario game that was created. If you know me, then you'll know that I love Mario 64. But literally, my least favorite sections in these games are the Bowser fights. And this is no different with the final boss battle. While the atmosphere and music are awesome, the actual fight is pretty lame. You just have to first grab his tail, which is fairly easy, then spin him around and let him go in such a way that he hits one of these bombs at the edge of the stage. Do that 3 times, and that's literally it. There's nothing really exciting or new in this fight. He'll just fire some ring shockwaves to jump over, and sparsely shoot fire, but really this whole thing is just spinning around Bowser. Besides that, I don't even like this spinning and throwing Bowser fight mechanic to begin with. The timing can get pretty confusing as to when to release him. It almost seems like luck in many cases. You know what this fight reminds me of? It's those machines in the arcade where a light spins around in a circle and you have to stop the light in the right spot to win. Yeah, well that's what letting go of Bowser to hit the bombs feels like. Overall, this is a great game with annoying Bowser fights. Alright, so now it's time to get to the more unusual side of 3D Mario Bowser boss fights, because this one I really don't see as discussed as the other ones on this list. So let's plan our next vacation to Isle Delfino with the final boss of Mario Sunshine. You know the one, where Bowser is just really big for some reason, he's got a voice actor this time, Peach is just chilling on a ducky, and they're all in a giant bathtub. Mario Sunshine was a weird game, wasn't it? But back to the point, the boss battle. It's just alright. You know, you run around the bathtub, dodge the bullets, dodge the fire, and then just rocket ground pound the 5 points. That's about it. This doesn't feel like a grand finale to the game, but just another boss battle. And the music is pretty generic too. There's not really even too much to talk about this fight. I mean, the water is green here, so maybe get that checked out. And this tub is just floating up in the sky somewhere, so that's something else. But for the gameplay, you just simply circle around this tub while dodging things. Sure, it's kind of cool if you get stuck on the falling rock pieces and then epically rocket your way back onto the tub, but this boss fight is whatever. Okay, so that vacation setting in Mario Sunshine was all bright and happy, alright? So now let's flip the tone to the total opposite and look at possibly the most creepy design for a Bowser fight that I've ever seen. This is the final boss of Bowser's Fury. This game's like an extra side mode for the port of Mario 3D World on Switch, but it still does have a totally unique final Bowser fight, so why not include it? When else am I gonna talk about this? But just look at Bowser in this fight. He goes through 2 different forms for his 2 different phases, and they both look very cool and very creepy as well. The first phase is pretty standard, really just a repeat of the other Bowser fights from the game, but it's pretty epic that you're 2 giants just duking it out here. Once you defeat him though, then things get serious. He turns into this giant form, again I guess, with these glowing white eyes. And now you have to ride around on Plessy to catch him in order to hit these bells for some reason. Maybe the town ran out of clock towers and need to get the bells back, I don't know, but you have to do all of this while avoiding all of Bowser's attacks and while circling around the lake. This part is pretty decent, albeit a bit repetitive. I mean, you technically are just going around in circles here, but there's always something that you have to avoid because Bowser bombards you with all this fiery crap. And how do you kill Bowser at the end of all this? Well, with a giant belly flop, of course. Awesome. So with Bowser's Fury out of the way, now I think let's look at a Bowser fight on a different console this time. In fact, it's the only battle on this list from a handheld Nintendo system. This is Mario 3D Land. In this battle, you have to essentially chase Bowser up and up this giant tower while the rest of the building falls behind you. The only way you actually attack Bowser even is by hitting these buttons, which collapses the bridges he's on in a very classic way. This fight is basically one big obstacle course that you have to complete while Bowser shoots fire and other stuff at you. There's some pretty cool moments here, like the initial climb up the stairs, the Donkey Kong reference where he throws barrels at you, and the final sprint with the head-on camera. While this battle is not terribly hard or anything, there's still a good amount of tension that it provides, since pretty well all the platforms will fall under you, creating some close calls. Also, I like how dynamic the camera is with how it moves to keep the focus on Bowser most of the time. And this is something that the rest of the game doesn't do at all. Overall, this fight isn't groundbreaking or anything. Oh wait, it actually is groundbreaking, but regardless, it's a fun part in the game. So the last battle we looked at was possibly the most different kind of Bowser fight that we've seen on this list so far, and that's just because you don't directly attack him in that fight, and to that I say, being different is lame, so let's look at this next fight with a very similar type of style. The finale of Mario 3D World, the fight against Cat Bowser. And I can't believe that once again I'm talking about the cat obsession in this game, but hey, here we are. All that aside though, this boss fight is quite the spectacle to watch. It's less of a direct fight with Bowser as well, since it's more so just climbing to the top of this giant tower while avoiding all of Bowser's attacks. But it's not just as simple as that, because he uses the power-ups against you, like the double cherry and the cat suit. So he has many different copies of himself attacking you from every which angle. Then things really ramp up during the second half of this battle. The epic music starts to play, the building is getting torn apart, and you even get this spotlight on you, which makes it seem like this is the grand finale of the game. Yeah, honestly, the whole presentation is what sells this boss battle for me. You really only directly attack Bowser like twice here, and you do that with just the POW blocks. However, Nintendo did a really great job at making the entire thing feel epic, and I still like the challenge of having to platform while dodging many different attacks. Just 3 fights left in this ranking, so we're almost at the top here, and I gotta say, this is some hefty competition that is left. We got some epic space adventures, or the end to an awesome Odyssey. I'll start with the second option. So here we are with the final battle of Mario Odyssey that I'll call Wedding Bowser. Yeah. It's a pretty good fight actually. You just have to use Bowser's punching Hat McDoodle against him while he throws these shell balls and brick balls at you. Okay. Then once you reach him, you give him the old 1-2 a bunch of times and repeat that cycle. And honestly, it's a good fight, it does its job, I had a fun time with it. Plus Mario does look hilarious while wearing this giant hat with boxing gloves as you try to maneuver all around these fire attacks. The rest of the battle consists of just jumping over fire rings, and then dodging his hat move to take his real hat. This battle actually reminds me a lot of the original Mario 64 fights, now that I think of it, but with much better gameplay this time. And I gotta say, the sequence after this battle is way more awesome. This is where you actually control Bowser and claw your way through these rocks with mild platforming involved. But I mean, is this really considered a part of the fight? I don't know, I'll give it some points for this part, but still, as for the fight itself, it's pretty sweet. Yes, as you can see, I really like the Galaxy Bowser boss battles. They were just such a grand finale to both of their respective games. But now the question is, which one do I like better? Well, how about we start with Mario Galaxy 2. In this battle, Bowser is super massive while you are stuck on this tiny planet. But that is what makes this fight, per se. See, Bowser keeps circling around you while throwing punches, spawning laser beams, breathing fire, and launching meteors. So by the final phase, you have to avoid all of this stuff while having very little room to do so because of the tiny planet. So this battle will constantly keep you on your toes, making it so that there's never a dull moment. And the way you attack him is by launching these asteroids right back at him. But you actually have to angle them at a certain direction by using the trajectory of your ground pound. And I like this, how it's not simply just hit this rock button, but there's an extra element to the fight now with having to aim these. I also like how when you defeat them and almost get the star, they do one final fake out just to take you to the real final phase. It's mainly a spectacle though and is very easy, but it's cool how you're jumping from asteroid to asteroid and attacking Bowser while falling into what looks to be one giant black hole. Yes, the best 3D Mario final Bowser boss fight is the one from Mario Galaxy. What an epic finale to an epic game. Okay, I'm gonna stop using the word epic now, but seriously, this fight ties up the game beautifully. It takes place on 3 different planets, the final one being in the center of a sun. This is awesome. And each planet has a different way to attack Bowser that even uses other elements from this game here. So you've seamlessly already learned how to fight him. And these are things such as how you have to hit him like the rocks from Honey Hive Galaxy, or how you use these, whatever they are, to knock him out of his shell like you would with other numerous enemies from different galaxies. This battle was cleverly designed, I'll say that. And then it's just satisfying to get the positioning and timing right to perfectly smack Bowser as he's circling around. This battle just had a really great progression to it as well. By the time you get to the final planet in the center of a sun, the awesome music kicks in, Bowser is throwing all of his different attacks at you, and you know that this is it. It was a fun galactic adventure accompanied by this grand finale. So with this list being done, I finally had a chance to patch up the clown car, and now it's looking pretty well as good as new. So I'll see you next episode when we rank the 2D Bowser fights. Aw, you gotta be kidding me.